I'm with my friend Isabel, who is your tanning queen. However, that's putting it really lightly because what you've built is an empire and you've done such amazing things. And how long have we known each other?
Gosh, I would say at least 10 years now.
Yeah, I think Catherine was like a newborn when you were spray tanning me in my old apartment.
We're getting old.
Oh my gosh. And we were talking so much off camera and it's just like, I want to hold off and allow everyone else to listen to what you have to say because you have so much knowledge, you have so much experience. And I really wanted someone like you who, you did the work. You really did the work. And when I say work, I'm not talking about behind the desk with a pen and a paper.
Right.
I saw you physically hustling from one location, packing all that stuff, and going from one location to another with your husband and child in the car till 2 in the morning, waking up 4 a.m. Like, you can tell me more about that, but this is what I saw, and I saw the hustle. And so when I see you with your own brand and your own location and you doing amazing things, it's just like, she deserves it. She really deserves it. You are the American dream. It's not the corporate ladder anymore. Totally. This is the American dream. Yeah. So maybe you can give us a little bit. I want you to start from how you got into this, but I know that you're a very grateful individual in general because you had such a hard upbringing. Yeah. You can talk about that if you're comfortable with it and just kind of share with us the beginning of Isabel.
Oh my gosh. Thank you again for having me. I'm so grateful. And this just feels so much more special because you are a friend of mine, someone that I've actually been inspired by for so many years. And all the things you said about me, it's echoed back to you because I remember when you started LC, I remember my sister used to always say, oh my gosh, Lilit was my favorite makeup artist. And I didn't know who you were. And this was like over 10, 15 years ago when you were like doing the grind. And so like you've done it too. And I think for me, it's so beautiful to see what you've built. And what I admire so much about you is just like how your brand has you're in everything you do. We're just like, I don't know how you do it. And same thing, like for me, it's like,
I could say the same about you, but we're doing it.
You have, your kids and I have one and I'm like, she's just so perfect at cooking at home. Like, I don't, so I'm just as inspired by you. And
thank you. And I think that's a big part of, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you have always surrounded yourself by people who you look up to or you're inspired by, and you really took that in and you were able to express it through your work and, be ambitious and do the things.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's so true. But literally that's what I remember just meeting you for the first time. I was so attracted to you because I truly believe you are who you surround yourself with. And I think you have to be so cautious about your friends, family first more than anything. It's crazy to think sometimes your own family doesn't want what's best for you or they're envious or whatever the thing is. And so I loved when anytime I get to see you in our spray tans, it was like more than just a spray tan because we'd be talking about life and the hustle. And so it's been, I started spray tanning now 11 years ago, which is like insane to me. And just
what were you doing before that?
So pretty much, as like I've mentioned before, and a lot of stuff that I've shared, I was obviously raised in foster care. And so at the age of 17, I left my foster home. I was a janitor. I was cleaning bathrooms. I was working at Jack in the Box. I was working like all these dead-end jobs just to be able to get by. And I was renting a room in a stranger's house for $300. So like that's what I was doing. And then I remember trying to go to college. I thought I was going to become a psychiatrist and help foster kids one day and how to get my PhD. And so I was doing my undergrad while doing all these other jobs. And then I just remember I didn't have mom or dad to pay my college tuition or my car. Like I literally had to figure it out. I didn't have anything to fall back on. And so what that taught me at such a young age, like when all my friends are partying and all this stuff, like I was out freaking grinding, doing whatever, whether it was working at Jack in the Box or being a janitor and cleaning, middle schools and Catholic schools and all the things, dental offices down the street. Like that's what I did. And like it was always like I was always trying to find like what I would do next, and but I needed to pay my bills, so I would do anything. And so I was doing that for a little while, and then from there I started working for the Society of Dermatology Physician Assistants as their executive director for their nonprofit. So I had got hired with them at 21 years old. And I remember at that point, I was like making $45,000, which this is now like 15 years ago. That's a lot of money. And so I was running this entire nonprofit, but I was learning about skin. I was learning about cancer, skin cancer. I was learning about all this stuff, and I'm working with all these dermatologists and physician assistants, and I was running their entire nonprofit. So I got to do a lot of the day-to-day stuff and just hearing their lingo, and I would go to their events. And then pretty much from there, met Vinny, and Mia was born with, she was allergic to protein and soy. So she had to be on a formula that was extremely expensive for us. And it was like, at the time, I think $200 per can. It was like crazy, but you can only get it with a prescription, which a lot of people don't know this. That's kind of what led me into spray tanning.
For your child's formula.
Literally,
Needs
it. So our insurance, so my sister's kids, it must have been something hereditary, had the same thing. And so she would give me all her leftover cans, and I would buy the rest of the cans off of Craigslist. Like people, because some people's insurance did cover it. For whatever reason, mine didn't, and I'm like barely getting by. And so that was like the idea, like, oh my gosh, like I need something else. Like I can't just get by a daytime job. Like I need to be able to, you know, make a little bit more money. And so Vinny was working, my husband was working out of state in Nevada, and he would drive back every week just to come see me. And Mia was literally not even, gosh, I think it was like, she was like a year old, which was like insane. So there was so much grind, you know, but it was always that desire to want to do better. I needed to make more money. I couldn't afford a formula. And so I started spray tanning just to make extra money.
How did that happen?
And literally,
did you just purchase one on
oh my
Amazon?
gosh, no. So my sister invited me over for a spray tan. And she's like, oh, it's like $65. That was a lot of money back then.
It was. I would charge $65 for a makeup application. And I thought I was doing well.
And every week, my husband and I would have $20 a week for our groceries. That's all we could afford. So we'd put it like in a sock. It was really crazy. We'd put our grocery money in a sock, and we're like, this $20 is just for.
I'm gonna cry.
It's crazy.
It's insane that you lived through that.
Literally, I mean, I talk about it, and it feels like it's an out of body experience. Like, because I can't believe that I was that girl. You know, like I talk about it, I'm like, wait, was that really me? Because my life has changed so much. You know, but it was like, I remember every week it was like $20 a week, and we'd go use that $20 at the 99-cent store, and we'd buy like all of our, you know, lettuce, and like they used to have these, you know, pasta and Mexican soup, which is called like sopitas. You used to make it with a can of, you know, like literally it was like $1 meal. So we had our $20 a week. And so I remember like, I'm like, hey, we still have TV dinners and our soups. Like I could spend this on a spray tan. So I used the $20 that I had that was supposed to be for groceries. My sister put in the other $45. And so I get the spray tan, and I couldn't even tell you if it was good, bad, ugly, orange, streaky, but I can tell you the way it made me feel.
Yeah.
Like it just made me feel better. You're like, oh, like this is insane that a beauty treatment can make you feel this good. Because a lot of times with beauty, it's like you might not see immediate results, right? You get your face, the IPLs, and your, you know, it's the stuff. And so it kind of, but with the tan, it's immediate, right? You're like, oh my gosh, it's that instant. And so I remember just like thinking, oh my gosh, like if I could start spray tanning to make extra money, but also make people feel amazing, like this is amazing. So then I took a spray tan class that was not great, but I had to like retrain myself and like spray tan Vinny. He had stripes and streaks on his body, like poor Vinny, like with tapes and how close and how far, and trying different formulas. And within a few months, it like my whole life changed. Like that first year, my life changed.
How did you first put yourself out there? Because is this pre-social media, or is this the beginning of social media?
Kind of about when Instagram was barely taking off. So this was now 11 years ago. So about the time where you would post one thing and you would get a million. Do you remember
Right,
that time,
yeah.
right? You would be with
I always say every
someone.
post would go viral.
Right,
you know?
exactly. And now it's so different,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't matter if you tag or you post. And so I just started reaching out to a bunch of people and offering free spray tans, but not saying like, oh, I want to give you a free spray tan where you post. I think that's so, like when people do that to me, it's just like, it's so abrasive. So I think it's all in your approach. And so I've always been cautious with my approach. So,
and I'm so glad you mentioned that because, you know, not just me, but like any influencer with a large or smaller account, the approach is so important. And it's not all about paid, unpaid, it's the approach. And if you just can refrain from asking for things, you know, in return, then the person in front of you is so much more open to sharing.
Totally. And I think for me, like being on the flip side of it now and having, you know, somewhat of a following, it's like when I get those messages and it's like, hey, we want to bring you in for a free lymphatic massage, but you have to post. I'm like, this is such a turn off. Like, I'm not going, like, I don't need a free lymphatic. I like, it's thoughtful, but if it would have been worded like, hey, love, like when I used to reach out to people, and I still do, by the way, like that's one thing you can never think you're too good and you can't, like, I'm constantly still reaching out to people. And so like for me, I'd reach out to people and be like, hi, love, if you're ever looking for a spray tan artist in LA, I'd love to work with you. Here's my number, XX.
That's it.
Like not talking about money when I haven't even, like that hasn't even come up. It's like, hey, I just want to work with you. And then I go and tan them. And then they're like, hey, how much do I owe? I'm like, this one's on me. And I think it's about so much in business. It's about building relationships first. The money will come later. And I think for me, that's been like, the biggest reason why Dolce Glow has been so successful in El Sunny Bay, it's because I've never followed the dollar. Like how many, like you too, like perfect example. Every time I go to your house, you're like, how much do I owe? I'm like, Lily, you're not paying me. Do you remember? Like you would fight me. You'd chase me down the stairs.
You're always, I'm like, okay,
me.
1 time, 2 time, we can't do this every time. But you're here at midnight.
I know.
And I know that I'm not the only one you did that with, you know, that hustle was there even when you were growing. Like you were spraying the Kardashians and like everyone, like you can name all of them. I know you did it on everyone. I can't even like think, and I think of them because I thought, oh my God, amazing. Like this girl, from what I know, I think at the time I learned about you through Sarah's stage. You know, and it went from like, you know, socialites to someone so big. I'm like, that's so amazing. And you're still spray tanning me for free all the way here, the other side of town where you live. And you just,
I think for me, it's like, it's never, like I always, and I know this still like true to today, the money will come. Like, I think so many people, like, obviously we need money to our day to day. And you know, I'm making money, whether it was $50 here, $100 there. I was still working my full-time job. So I had, you know, a guaranteed salary. So I was able to grow that and not expect. And I'm like, I just want to build the relationships first. And then the money will come after. And now we're seeing that flourish now in our businesses. And I truly think it takes a certain person, though. I think when you come from a childhood like I did, like I was put in foster care at 7. I had almost died of a bleeding ulcer. We ate dog food to survive. Like I was so sick. I didn't have socks going to school. I had torn underwears, or I didn't even have underwears. Like I didn't have a backpack. My parents would be high as a kite and would go and leave their 5-year-old daughters for 3 to 7 days alone. And we would knock on our neighbors' houses asking for food. Like at 5 years old, like I remember this so fluidly, that when you come from like an experience like I did, like it's like everything else is a bonus for me, you know, like it's when you live that life and you have those experiences, like it changes you forever. Yet alone at 5 years old, still remembering that when I'm going to be 37 years old, I remember knocking on my neighbors' doors for food. And they'd be like, where's your parents? I'm like, we haven't seen them for 3 days. Imagine these 2 little twin girls knocking on, they would bring us in, they would feed us whatever they could. And then it took years. And then DCFS got involved. And then we got taken away. And then we got put into foster because I had almost died of a bleeding ulcer, right? Because I was so malnourished. We're eating dog food and whatever we could find at home. We're not eating for 3 days, you know, it's just insane. So I had almost died of a bleeding ulcer. I just like bled, literally almost bled to death. DCFS got involved. And then from there, we went into our foster home. Things were good for the first few months. And then they did, I don't know if it was worse than what I was raised in, but the stuff that we went through there were the abuse and everything went through.
From what I remember you mentioning, right?
Yeah, we lived there for 10 years. And unfortunately, DCFS knew about it and those agencies knew about it and they covered it up. And there was a family member that was related to my foster / adopted parents and ended up calling DCFS. And they're like, how could you call? I want to protect that person. But they would say, how could you call on this family member? And they would hang up. And so I just found this out a few years ago when I spoke to this person. She's like, we would call DCFS and let them know like what was going on. And they would hang up the phone on us. And
were there other kids in that family as well?
There were other kids and they were in and out and there was tons of other ones. And so at 17, my sister left at 16, so she left 6 months before I did. And then...
where'd you go?
So I literally walked out with the trash bag and a backpack and threw a bunch of clothes in this bag. I had a friend pick me up on the corner. And I started renting a room in a stranger's house for $300. I hadn't even graduated high school yet. And she rented me a room for $300. And literally, I never went back. And my life has been, obviously, I was working all these dead-end jobs and then landed that other amazing job and then started spray tanning and then met Vinny and my whole life changed. Literally changed. So when I talk about it or talk about it with people, it's like, it feels like unreal. And it feels like, and like sometimes I'm like, wait, this really, like you were that child. Like you were that 7-year-old, you were that 5-year-old that didn't have anything. You were the child that was hungry. So like for me, it's like so important. Like I still suffer from PTSD whenever like Mia says, Mom, I'm hungry. I like freak out. I need food. I always need to have snacks in my backpack. Like it's just a part of me. And that's why I only have one daughter too. I think my biological mom had 5 daughters and we're all adopted in different areas. So I come from 3 generations of addiction. My grandmother, my mother, and my oldest sister that passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah, I thought you had only one sister.
No, my twin and I were the one that were put together in foster care, but there's 5 of us.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're all in different areas and foster homes and adoption, all girls too.
Wow, I'm so proud of you for coming out of that and being so strong. And you know, the universe repaid you.
It's crazy.
I mean, it could never, because you will, live with those memories for the rest of your life. But, in some way, shape, or form.
My sister and I talk about that a lot, like to where we're like, because there's things that I suffer from so much. Yeah. Like, I talk a lot about anxiety and PTSD and like having to get on medication because when you go through 17 years of your life and it's yelling and beating and not eating and it's like not a normal life, I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. So getting on the right medication for me at a very young age, going through 12 years of therapy, sometimes I would just go in and just cry to my therapist for 3-4 days. I remember at the end of our 12-year therapy that I did with her, I would do several times a week. She had a stack. She would handwrite her notes of all the stuff that we had gone through. One of these days, I'm going to ask her if she would give those to me. I don't know if she would, but it's so insane. And I think by the grace of God, like I was able to change and build something so beautiful and that we're building every day. But like, I talk about this with my husband and I'm like, this is truly, I wasn't handed a check to start Dolce Glow. Like, like literally going spray tanning crazy. Like we didn't take our first investment till years later, like I'm a true founder story. Blood, sweat, and tears, packing the packages at your garage and all the things. It was just Vinny and I, Mia in the back seat, like all those things to where people think, oh, it's so easy. And they just see, oh, you're at Sephora, you're at, Ulta and all the things, but they don't realize that like, I'm not an incubated brand. So many of these brands out there with celebrities and influencers are incubated. They literally are paired with a venture capital firm from the beginning and said, hey, can we do a licensing deal with you?
And money was never an issue.
No, never. Start off, oh my God, here's $4 million to start your brand. Are you joking? Vinny and I literally charged up every single credit card and everything was declining the last week before
remember
we
the last
launched.
time we were talking, you were
Yeah.
trying to buy your packaging and you were putting it on credit cards.
Literally credit cards and sharks. Like this is a true, like, and that's what I have so much pride in. I'm so proud.
I was gonna say you should be so proud
So
of yourself
proud.
because the average person who went through what you and your sister went through would have been on the street.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And it, like, I think of that every day. And like they say, like less than 2% of foster kids even make it out without having addiction problems, homeless, end up incarcerated. Like the fact that I beat that 2% and like now I can hopefully be a role model to other foster kids and that stuff I try to do on my spare time. I don't have a lot of it, but you know, it's something that I like to talk to foster kids and young youth because it's like small decisions can forever change your life. And it's like we tend to make excuses. I think that's another thing that you hear a lot. Well, I was molested. I was this. I was that. You know, I hear that so much. And yes, that does have an effect on life, but it's how you change that, right? Like for me, being molested, being abused, being hungry, being starved, being like everything that we went through, for me, I used it as fuel to be like, oh no, like I didn't actually get drunk for the first time until I was 29 years old. I would not even touch alcohol till this day. I've never done any drugs, literally, because I'm PTSD. I'm like, I went through 3 generations of addiction. So my mother started doing drugs at a really, really young age, PCP. My dad actually had one of the biggest rock bands in the 1990s. So they were like in that heavy metal rock and drugs and was like super big in the 1990s. And so my mother started doing drugs and my dad started doing drugs. And then my grandmother, super Catholic Italian, my mother gets pregnant with my oldest sister. And so my grandma starts telling everyone that it's her child. So because Catholic, you can't have a child. And my grandma, you know, Italian, Catholic, like you. So literally she was running around telling everyone that my mother's baby was her child because that was just not normal, you know? So
was it religious?
It's religious, like you're not, you know.
And Armenians are the same way,
And, you know, with my grandparents, like from Italy, Italian roots, and her mother's being born, her mom being born in Italy and stuff, it was like a no-no. So the fact that my mother got pregnant and, you know, so my grandma was running around telling everyone that that was her baby, they ended up adopting her. My grandparents ended up adopting my oldest sister. Wow. It's like, it's this, we could go, it's like a whole freaking movie, but
I was just thinking, it's like, crazy. This is a movie.
So then my grandma became addicted to literally drugs because she was trying to take the Xanax and take the things to mute herself from my mother because my mother's having babies and drugs and all the things. So my grandma then becomes addicted and my grandfather tries to put her in rehab. That didn't work. And then my oldest sister, who my grandpa adopted, ended up also being an addict.
Oh my gosh.
And then so sad, years later, her body ended up just giving up and they ended up finding her body here in Burbank at a park, my older sister, which is insane. And it's crazy because when she passed away, she had no drugs in her system. She just fell asleep and her body just gave up, but it was like years of abuse. Yeah. You know, so it's generational trauma. And I think for me, that's why I didn't have my first drink until I was 29. And I'm still very cautious. Like Vinny and I won't drink during the week. It's only in social stuff. But I carry still a lot of trauma, but I've learned how to deal with it. But because I sought help, I went to therapy, I got on the right medications. And that's something I'm such a huge advocate for, is getting on, you know, people think, oh, you know, if you're on antidepressant or you're on anxiety medication, you know, society
looks down on it.
You know, do. And I think a lot of our cultures that, you know, and so for me, I remember my therapist said this to me once. She goes, why is it okay for someone to have high cholesterol and take cholesterol medication to lower their cholesterol, but it's not okay when someone has mental health to not take the medication they need to balance everything that's happening in your brain? And that stuck with me forever. Because it changed
mental
my
health
life.
is something you can't like measure, you know, like a cholesterol you can measure, like everything, your blood work you can measure, everything is on a chart. Mental health you can't measure, so people content to minimize it and blame it on other things.
Yeah,
and it's so unfortunate.
It's so unfortunate. It's so bad. And unfortunately, so many people still look bad upon it. And I'm like, I would not be functioning if I didn't get on the right medication at a really young age and go to therapy.
Good
like
for you
that,
for taking care of yourself.
and you have to. And I'm so like for that. And I wanted to be a therapist. I wanted to be a psychiatrist. And maybe in my next life down the line, as we continue to build Dolce Glow, like I want to do more stuff for foster kids. I want to help with their mental health. I want to do more things like that, because we are that 2% that no one believes in.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. And thank you for sharing that story, because
thank you.
I know it's not easy to talk about. And when you do share things like this, I think for viewers, you know, there's a lot of viewers that can say, oh, but I had a hard upbringing. I didn't have those privileges. I didn't have those challenges. I had these challenges. And it's like, we've all had some sort of challenge. It's what you do with it. And when are you going to make that change, if not ever?
I always say, like, we all have our own stories. Like you and I were talking about, you know, all your health stuff that you talked about, and me having a health, and it's like, it's what you make of it.
Yeah.
And it's like controlling your thoughts. And if your thoughts are not being able to, because you can't always control your thoughts, it's like, it's okay to seek help.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, exactly. And for me, I'm like, therapy is like the best thing, and just making sure. And I think my therapist saved me. Like I think about it, like when people are, you know, they'll say, you speak so well, and who were you raised with? And I'm like, I think it was the 12 years of therapy that I went through. Like I learned how to deal with life without even realizing it. You know, so like now I'm actually super calm. Packaging is in here. I'm like, well, it's a puzzle. We'll go here down the street and make 500 boxes. Yeah. It's going to be $2 more. It is what it is. You know, I think now I'm just so calm about life that I'm just like, it's what it is.
Because you went through the worst already. It can't get worse than that.
Vinny and I talk about all the time, like, you know, I was saying we were so blessed to buy a house a few years ago, and then there's days where him and I are like, we miss our little apartment and condo. Let's just go back. You know, like it's nice to have it, but it's not going to change me.
No.
You know,
you're already changed into the person you are today, which is, you should be so proud of.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so wild.
So tell me, you know, what was the journey of starting your, I guess you were like, for viewers, it would be like, you're an independent contractor.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was a service provider.
So it could be really for any field, right?
Yeah.
So how was that journey like? How did you get your foot through the door? I know you reached out to people and said, I'll spray tan you for free. People were saying yes. What were your mannerisms like when you would show up? Because I know that's so important,
so
you know?
Huge.
And I think that part is missing in some businesses. It's like, you can get the client, but you gotta be able to keep them.
Keep them, and how do you make them feel? So I think for me, always
especially with high profile
clients, right? Like whether it's, I would go in and treat, whether it was my high profile clients or people like you and I every day, the same. Didn't change. My tent didn't change. My setup didn't change. My mannerisms didn't change. I would go in, hey, how's your day going? You know, how are the kids doing? I would never ask personal questions. I would just make them feel good, make them feel comfortable. And I think your energy, you can say all the right things, but it's your energy, right? So like, I truly believe like you can't hide who you really are as a person. And so for me, it was like, I never wanted to be like a lot of people I've met in my career, whether it's people that work with glam or hairstylists, like I've seen from afar just the way their lives have changed, and they're not always the nicest or whatever, right? So like, I always knew I wanted to be different. I'm like, I don't want to be like this bougie, like service provider that, you know, all these things that I've heard and I've seen. I'm like, I just want to go and make their lives easier. If they need to change 3 times today and I can make it work, no problem. Sure, I'll make it work. No worries at all. I wouldn't give them a lecture. Oh, it's going to be $250 more. You're making me wait. I just got the job done.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for me, it's just going in, being real, treating people the way I would want to be treated. And tanning is so vulnerable, right? You're seeing people naked, you're meeting them for the first time, and you're like, hey, I'll get. So if you don't have the right energy, and we're humans, whether people want to believe it or not, we pick off of people's energy, right? So like, when I'd walk into a home, I just want to make them feel comfortable and, and just be myself. And I think when people lose it is when they're not being themselves, right? And then that client or that person can read right through them. So for me, I've just gone in, I don't ask personal questions. I do the same setup and, okay, I'm done and out, make their lives easy, and that's it. I think when people go in and again, the approach, oh my gosh, like, for me, I get it now on the other side, they'll be like, I'm so obsessed with you.
Yeah.
Or like, I literally will have people come take my classes and not even want to take a class. They just want to meet me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I wish you would have not told me that, right? So, and I think it's all in the approach.
Because it creates a discomfort.
It's discomfort. It makes me feel uncomfortable. So imagine going into these high profile clients and you're like, I'm such a fan.
Yeah. You're like, red flag.
We live in I guess, society, I don't want to say, but like to where it's like we have to protect ourselves, right? So you're like, who are you allowing in my home?
Yeah. And I heard they're very, very big on that too. High profile clients. I have a lot of makeup artist friends who were in that industry. They were like, they are big on energy. Like you can be the greatest artist, but if they don't like your energy.
The energy, it's everything.
You're out.
So for me, it was just like going in, doing what I needed to do. When it came time for payment, I would say, do you want me to invoice? Or the first spray tan was always on me until this day. I'm like, the first spray tan, I just want you to love it, all the things. And then after that, I'm like, would you want me to invoice? And if their assistant's booking me, this is another tip if you're listening. If their assistant is booking you and you don't have direct contact with that client, never ask that celebrity or that person how to get paid. It makes them feel uncomfortable. They have a third party to remove
you through the assistant.
So communicate with the assistant. Thank you. Have a nice day. Hope you love your tan, right? Then after, you can follow up with the assistant. Hi, love. Do you want me to invoice? What's the preferred? Great. That's how they want to deal with it. If they immediately put a third party in between you, you communicate with that third party. And I think, again, it goes back to just understanding your place. And it makes them feel uncomfortable. I know that. Like if I'm going to, let's just say, one of my high profile clients for the first time and I'm asking, let's just say it's Kim. Hey, Kim, like she, her team deals with that. You deal with her team and all the things. So I think that that's one bit of advice is like, what's your approach, right? And, how do you maintain these relationships? Like for me, obviously I don't just have one brand now, I have two. So I'm super busy. I am the CEO. I am the founder. I'm being pulled in a million different directions. One day I'm on QVC. One day I'm on Access Hollywood. One day I'm doing a news segment. I'm doing product development. I'm doing I have my hands in so many different things. I'm working on our finances, all the things that, I think about like as a founder, like you really, you're just pulled in so many different directions that I can't be that person anymore for them. Like I used to be Kim's first call. I used to be Kylie's first call, but now I can't, right? It's like, if I'm available, they'll call me. And if I'm available, I go. And if not, that's okay. But this is like a second part. So like my life, like I didn't want to be a service provider for the rest of my life because it's so hard on my body. I want to be home with Mia. She's almost a teenager. So for me, it's like, I love it. And if I can do it, I still will do it. But if I can't, like, I totally understand, like, I'm going to be a second call next time, So
that's what does happen.
It's growth.
For the people who are just getting into providing a service or selling products or whatever it is, when you start to,
grow,
not be available, they are going to go to the, we were talking about this on the last episode. They are going to go to the next next service provider. And maybe you're not going to get that call next time. But at this stage in your career, in your life, you can do that.
Right.
But in the beginning, you can't say no.
No, you couldn't. And I did that for, I want to say now we're going on year 11 from when I started tanning. So it probably wasn't until 8 years ago that I did it for 8 years. It wasn't until about 3 years ago that I couldn't.
You had to take a step back a little bit. But you were comfortable enough to take a step back.
I was.
Right? Because now you have this huge project, which we'll get to in a second. That's how I was with makeup.
That's the ultimate goal, right?
When I started Elsie, I was like, I can't. And people don't really understand the time it takes, the product development, the packaging, the formulation, getting things like the photo. There's so much involved, right? And I was like, I can't do makeup, and like I can't do 10 hours of
And
like.
did you,
makeup
I don't know,
anymore.
I'm just curious. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Did you feel like people, like maybe society almost felt like, oh, like they like kind of looked down on you when you stopped being like.
My brother-in-law was the first one to ask me. He's like, "Are you sure that's a smart idea?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
Because like you, I was like, "This is the next phase for me.
Right.
This is a different." And that's when, you know, when COVID happened, the salons were like, I was like, "This is a sign. It's time to shut it down. I don't do makeup anymore. I'm just managing a salon now. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Like I need to focus on the brand." And that
growing
was the second phase.
And because that's where ultimately the money is, right?
Yeah.
Like how, like, obviously as a service provider, you can only make so much, but how long?
No,
right?
I was
Are you gonna
exhausted.
haul your kits? Like for me, I'm hauling my spray tan machines up the stairs, down the stairs, 2 a.m. My daughter, like, it's so much. Like, you know, that I even hurt my hip recently from years and years of spray tanning. That I was like, I knew like I couldn't go at that pace forever.
Yeah.
Like I would kill myself, you know? So
it's not healthy.
It's not. But then I feel like on the flip side, you have, I hate to say it, but you have this like arrogant mindset. So where I'm constantly getting text all the time. And sometimes I've even gone this, they're like, "Oh, you don't tan so-and-so anymore. You don't tan so-and-so anymore." I'm like,
it doesn't matter that you did it.
Focus?
Wait, it doesn't matter that you did it.
And for so many years. Because
now,
I'm not their first person. I'm like, oh, wait. So now you think I suck as a spray tan artist because I'm not this person's first person. I'm like, do you not see that I built a multi-million-dollar brand?
Yeah.
And do you not understand the time?
How do you handle that?
Focused
How do you handle the negativity as you're growing?
I'm human, and so there's days where I literally will be like, I'm just staying in bed all day, and I'm putting a pillow over my face, and I just need to cry this out. I even had to stop telling my friends, like even my close friends, and even sometimes my team, and they'll be like, "Hey, who'd you tan for the Oscars? We want to get press," or "Who'd you do this?" And I literally, this was like a year ago, and I said, "Can you please stop asking me these questions? I'll let you know if there is someone that I worked with that, you know, we want to talk about. But you don't realize you're lowering me every time. You're making me feel like what I've built with literally what I used to do with my 2 hands has become this multi-million-dollar project for me and business that people can get at home, but it's not good enough." So I'm like, you're making me feel like it's not. So they're not doing it. They weren't doing it intentional, but they weren't realizing how much it was hurting me and how much it still hurts, to where it's like, oh, what? I'm like, are you just so caught in that mindset that you're just so focused on who I tanned, and you're concerned that I'm not tanning this person anymore? Well, guess what? No, I actually just saw one of the sisters 2 weeks ago and I was available, right? So it's like, if I can and I will, but it's like the fact that they forgot all the years that I was the only person doing it. There was maybe 1 or 2 other celebrity spray tan artists in the world, but I was literally, but they forget about all that.
Yeah.
And that just, but I hate that because it's such a small-minded thought to where I'm like, do you not see that I'm like literally on West Coast, East Coast, Italy, going to the UK, talking distribute, like they people have no clue.
No idea,
And it's just like,
so they just put up walls. Just kept quiet.
And they just, and now it's like, you know, it's like if I can get my hands, and it's still like, I still love tanning, but I can't be that person anymore.
I can't do that forever.
I can't.
But I think anyone in any career who's trying to grow and is developing products or starting other projects, it's like, this is growth too. Like this can be bigger than whoever you were spraying, you know, 8 years ago.
$150, you know, I'm getting, or whatever they were paying me.
Right.
Like, this is, I know what it is. I know what it's becoming, and I'm going to be so grateful that I didn't stay as a spray tan artist for the rest of my life.
Because some people will.
And that's
you
okay.
know, I come from the beauty industry too. Like, I know people who have been doing it for 20 years, and they will probably do it for another 20 years.
And you know what?
And if they're content, I'm like, great. But
for me,
for some of us, I'm like,
it's
not enough. It's not the money. It's the fulfilling.
It's the fulfilling.
What you do.
And I love that you said
Yeah.
that, because it's, like I said, it's never been about the money for me. But it was so heavy on my body. It still is so heavy whenever I do it. But for me, it's like, what am I going to leave Mia? My daughter, like, what's the legacy? And I can't leave her a mobile spray tan business.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Good for you.
I can leave her a legacy brand that she will forever be taken care of. You know, like that's the ultimate goal. And so there's this like quote that says like, what I once did with my own two hands has flourished to something I could have never even dreamed of, which is part 2 of my business, right? And so it's just crazy how society will only remember you as this, and they'll forget all the years that you grinded and you
wow them with this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even this, it's like, wait, I just launched in Sephora and you're so focused about who I tan for the Oscars. Like my focus is launching and killing my Sephora launch.
So unfortunate, but good for you for recognizing that.
Yeah.
And you know, you can have your moment, but to not let it pause you in anything that you have going on, which is amazing things, which I want to get into. At what point did you decide, like, okay, because that's what I did. I was like, I can't do makeup forever. I'm exhausted. My back hurts. But I was like, something's missing. And for me, it was foundation, creating something that like my customers trusted me with, which was the face. And I'm like, I'm like, here, you could do it at home. And so for like me, like you, I was like, oh, I got to do something more than physical labor for 12 hours a day. So I create the products that my clients trust me. And I'm like, they're going to love this. I know they're going to love it. And I tried it with that. And then I started expanding. At what point did you realize?
And my timing was
We're about the same, right?
Yeah. And the timing, right? Because you took advantage.
Oh, it's so much more challenging now.
Oh, people ask me, they're like, do I launch a skincare makeup brand?
Nope.
I'm like, do it when it's less saturated, you know, or you're just going to sit on inventory, you know? But it's literally that. You took advantage of when your career, when you're like, okay, you're still at the salon, you still have peak, exactly. For me, same thing. I'm working, I mean, I could name every single client. I've worked with almost all the biggest names in Hollywood, or not even just Hollywood. You're talking about princesses from other countries and first ladies of other countries that I could not even talk about, you know, like big time. Like this is insane, the people I worked with and travel to and still travel to. And I was like, this is the time, because everyone's like, hey, I don't have access to a spray tan artist at home. How can I get your products? And I was like, oh my gosh, there's such a need for a self tanner that's not sticky, it doesn't smell, it's hydrating, because it was like just the shitty stuff that was on the market for
dry and patchy.
Dry and patchy. And so ultimately, like I'm like, I want something that's gonna break the internet, that's gonna do something different. So I would listen to what your clients wanted. And so whether I was tanning someone, the first question they would say, am I gonna streak? Well, I knew I needed to make a formula that was streak proof. I needed to, is it going to be sticky? I needed to make a formula that wasn't sticky, right? Or minimize the tackiness that comes from a tan. So I knew that that was my opportunity. And so Vinny and I charged up every single credit card, and we're like, we're going to do this. And then we launched our professional line first, which is what you can get at spray tan salons.
We missed the part where you were teaching.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a huge part. And I still do.
Spray tan.
I still do.
Was this before you started the brand?
So when I started teaching classes, I had just launched my professional line.
Okay.
So which was for spray tan artists.
And that was so smart too. Like you're like, guys, you have this opportunity. Let me teach you how to do it.
It was this flywheel model that I didn't even realize was happening. Like it was literally a flywheel. It's me, celebrity clients, tanning all these celebrity clients, using my formulas, teaching classes, then launching a product for them. So I'm creating this flywheel that I didn't even realize I was creating, right? And so I started doing spray tan classes, which I still do, and I love it. Like I love teaching more than anything, because I learned, I know, like you and I know about the formulas.
Parallel lives,
literally. And I still, now we do, you know, Zoom classes. Now we still, like if they can't come in person, we do it on Zoom, and they're just as great. But so I did that, started doing the classes with the professional line. And then there was that request, well, hey, I don't have a spray tan artist near me, but I want to self-tan at home, or just the women that just don't feel comfortable being naked in front of people. And that's okay, right? Not everyone is going to feel comfortable getting a spray tan, so they want to do it themselves at home. So I saw that gap, started working on products. And then 2 years later, after we started doing the classes and everything, we launched the at home. And literally that first week, I think we like sold out, or like made all of our money back that Vinny and I had charged up. So we were at least able to pay off the credit card.
That's huge.
Which is huge. That's
Some
like
people will
goal.
stay in debt and close shop and move on. But
Totally.
No,
we were able.
Especially the first week.
Literally the first week. But at that point, I knew that there was a need for a change in the way people thought about self-tanning and spray tanning. They needed elevated formulas. They needed elevated marketing. They needed elevated videos. They needed just an elevation, not just the way it looks, from the packaging, everything, right? Just like makeup and skincare, you have this beautiful packaging and all the things and photo shoots and applying the blush and the concealer. Tanning, you never had any of that. So I truly think Dolce Glow, my friend Justine, who does hair, Justine Marjan, texted me the other day. She goes, what you did in self-tanning and spray tanning, no one has ever elevated the industry like you did.
No.
And just like hearing her say that, because she's such an incredible professional herself, I truly feel like that's where Dolce Glow came in, and we changed the way people thought of, or the way they looked at it. And now they're even more so, like, we can't keep products in stock because people are like, oh my gosh, we have our self-tanning spray that goes on the face. And literally, I'm going to trademark, literally the self-tan you don't have to think about. You literally spray and go. You don't have to blend it. You don't have to dry it. You can sleep with it. It's not going to get on your sheets. You spray and go. So it's like creating products that are a step into spray tanning for us. It's like kind of where we're seeing right now. And now talking about skin cancer, everyone knows skin cancer and laying out in the sun. And so now I think now's the time where if I would have started now, I would have missed the opportunity. But since I started, 11 years ago, built my name, built the branding, built all that, now companies that are coming in, we're like, people are just starting to come. We're like on that peak already of self-tanning. So it's crazy.
You started with one product, right? Was it the Luso?
It was, so we started, and our set was 5.
So your initial launch was 5 products.
5 products.
Right off the
So
bat.
it was our Luso self-tanning mousse, which is just won the L'Oreal Best of Beauty. And then we have a spray can, which I love a can.
Congrats.
Yeah,
That's
we
amazing.
did. Thank you.
Good
Thank
for you.
I know, it's crazy.
God, little Isabel would have never thought of it.
And I won Founder of the Year last year.
Oh my God.
Which is like insane. Like, and I was stacked against like some of the biggest in the industry. And I was like, there's no way. But I ended up winning last year.
Well deserved.
It's insane. But
well deserved. The product itself, and we talk about packaging. I know you repackaged, and I love the new color and style, and that's also really important too, right?
Yeah, we did that a year after, which was great. We had a rebrand.
Yeah, you did it pretty quickly. But if you listen to your clients and you kind of see what's out there, and you see the trend, and if you feel it's time now, then it could be at any point in your branding. But the product itself has to be just as important, because no one's buying your products for the packaging.
And I always say, they'll buy the product once to support you, right? Your friends, family, friends of a friends. They won't buy it a second time if it wasn't a good product.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, we talk about this. A lot of people are like, you're the face of Dolce Glow and all this. And I go, listen, God forbid something happened to me today. I know the product is good enough, but it's going to stand on its own, because our repeat customer base is insane. And they're not just buying it because they love me or Dolce Glow or the brand story. They're buying it because it's a good product. So I think now, in order to be able to make it in skincare, makeup, like, one, you have to have a great story. You have to have a product that is actually good. And you need to obviously just continue to elevate, like, as you can't stay stagnant, right? So it's like so many different boxes. And I think being a service provider, you actually have a bigger, more advantage. So if you are a hairstylist, if you are a makeup artist, if you are a facialist, like, you have a customer base, like, own that peak, like, take advantage of that, because like, they might find the next best person, and then you lost that client or that opportunity. So I always tell people that do have that, like, if you don't want to do the grind for the rest of your life and the long days on set or all the crazy grind, it's like, look at that next step. You're good at this. People believe in you. They trust you already. Like, take advantage of that time.
And we live in such a time now where I was like, anybody can do anything.
Right.
But fear holds them back. Insecurity holds them back. The unknown holds them back.
You'll never know unless you try it. And everyone says that. Like, you'll never know unless you try it. But it's really the truth.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like, I don't like give a shit, like, in the sense where, like, if it doesn't work, I'll try something else, because I've already been at the lowest points in my life. I know how it feels to be hungry. I know how it feels not to pay my bills. I know how it feels to rent a room in a stranger's house. Like, I've already been at the lowest, that I'm not scared to make a mistake,
Yeah.
And then now you grow, you have great attorneys, you have people that actually help you deal with the stuff you don't want to deal with in business, So
How was it learning the business part of starting your brand? Because, you found a developer, they did, you worked, I'm sure, several years before you launched your first set of products. What was that learning curve like?
So I remember, I'm such a geek, like really, like, don't judge this. I'm such a geek. Like, I love
beauty and brains.
Like, literally, I geek out, right? So I'm on forums, I'm reading ingredients, I would study ingredients. So, like, if they would send me like a product and they're like, okay, this ingredient's not going to make you sticky, it's going to make the formula this, then I would start reading about it. I'm like, no, I don't want this ingredient. I don't want this. I don't want that. So I started to really like geek out and really understand what the ingredients do in our formulas. And then like that was just creating the formulas. And then after the business stuff, I've always been super, I think, the high anxiety in me. Like I'm always like, I want the best insurance guy. I want the best attorney. I don't care how much I have to spend. I want the best CFO. I want like, I just knew, like, because
but I think that's so important you mentioned that. Sorry to cut you off, because a lot of times people will go for a friend who's doing it for free or inexpensive and all that, and God forbid, but push comes to shove, you're gonna need the best.
You're gonna want someone that knows what they're doing and that can handle situations better than you, like, for example, legal or whatever it is. And so for me, I always knew I wanted the best. Like, I didn't shortchange, like, on anything, right? Like immediately I know if I'm launching a product and it's going on someone's skin, you better have good insurance, right? And then I had insurance, and then I was like, this isn't making sense. God forbid something happens, packaging, you hear all this stuff that happens at all these retailers, and I'm like, what protection do I have? So like I started researching, asking my friends that have big, beauty businesses, like Amy Lou from Tower 28, or Kosas from Sheena from Kosas. We've had so many conversations, like you just start learning and you pick up a little bit from everyone. And I was like, okay, I'm getting this insurance, I'm hiring this. I have not just one attorney, you have two. They do separate things. One helps with this, one helps with that. Just finding experts in your field. My CFO, he wasn't in beauty, but he's taken tons of companies public. He's done tons of IPOs, billion-dollar transactions, tons of M&As. I was like, I want him. Like, I don't know anything about, forecasting and these crazy. I love Excel, but when you're talking 20 pages on a forecast,
because this all sounds so familiar. My husband's like the number guy, and I'm just like, I'm not even going to try to figure it out, because I'm the creative.
we need to stay that way, right? So that's why we hired experts to make sure that we have everything. And it's like, I know what's like, I don't like looking at money. Because again, I come from a childhood that I had no money. So money brings me anxiety. So guess what? I have a great CFO that worries about that. But I can close a deal. I can close any deal. That I've just learned. Deals I can close.
And I feel like you have good mentors too.
I do. Yeah.
Right?
Really, really good people. Jamie Kern-Lima, who obviously she sold It Cosmetics for $1.2 billion to L'Oreal in a cash transaction. She was the first.
And this was a long time ago.
I
think she was one of the first that I knew about.
She has, and she's been my mentor till this day. She was at our event the other week, and she's not just become a mentor, but she's a friend of mine and has really looked out. And I'm spray tanning her naked. I'm like, hey, Jamie, who do I call for this packaging? So it's like,
that's so great, because not a lot of people have that either. So to have that good mentorship around you.
I'm so lucky.
You're blessed.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
Someone said, don't say lucky, say blessed.
I know. It's
lucky
so
seems like
you were just
happened to you.
No. It's so much work. People think, like, I'm sure you get this all the time. I want to launch a skincare brand. I want to launch a hair care brand.
I'm like, I have a list of questions before you even think about that.
Same thing for me. And I'm like, a few friends have just launched some stuff, and I'm like, I wish you would have come to me before.
Yeah.
Because I would have told you, you don't buy 10,000 SKUs right off the bat. You buy, if you can get away with 1,000, 2,000, the lowest possible, because if you can't move the inventory,
let's test it out first.
So I think there's so many things. And now because I do consulting also now for other brands, and I always start off with why. Why do you want to launch a skincare brand? Why do you want to launch a hair care brand? Why do you want to launch a makeup brand? What's your story? Nowadays, people aren't just buying products because you're cool. They want to know the story. They want to see the hustle. They want to see the grind. And this is why we talk about how social media, Like there's days where I don't want to show stuff, but you have to. People want to know you. And I feel like when they feel like they're a part of you, they support you, you know? So.
Yeah, you pinpointed it. When did you get into Ulta?
So we got into Ulta now.
Did you do QVC first and then Ulta?
No, Nordstrom. Nordstrom first.
So tell me what that journey was
Nordstrom was, I think now 4 years ago. They actually, so I was actually connected by one of my clients who connected me to Nordstrom and said, like, you need the self-tanner there. And so Nordstrom was our first retailer. And it was great because Nordstrom is elevated, obviously Nordstrom, but they don't have thousands of stores, right? You're in like 80 to 100. So it was easy for us to kind of, not easy, but it was like a step into like getting into retail and how all the vendors and UPC and everything connects, right? And so I think we did it such gracefully. It was like Nordstrom first, then QVC, which is crazy because I got pitched by an agency and they were going to take a huge chunk of whatever they got from QVC if I got into QVC, because a lot of people want QVC. And I ended up going in my DMs that day. An agency was like, oh, I'm going to pitch you to QVC, but we take, I don't know, 20 or 30%. QVC's margins are already tight, but you're going to the masses, right? So there's a pro and cons of that. So then that day I go in my DMs and there's a DM from a buyer directly from QVC saying like, oh my gosh, Isabel, I've been watching what you're doing. I would love to get you on with QVC. And then if I wouldn't have looked at that DM, I would have signed with that agency the next day and they would have taken the chunk of change. And so now we just got to negotiate directly with QVC and go on. So we did QVC, we're still doing QVC. And then from there, you know. So
what is QVC like for you?
Oh my gosh. So QVC is, I love it because I wanted to be.
You're good at it. You're so good at it. First of all, people would freak out in front of the camera if they're not used to it.
Because growing up, I wanted to be a news reporter.
Oh, how funny.
So like when I was like
Full
7,
circle.
8, yeah, exactly. So now I'm like, oh, I'm news reporting for my own company.
Yeah.
So I don't know, when I get on camera, I just like, it like lights me up or whatever. So I remember it's a lot of prep work. They do crazy testing more than any other retailer. Packaging, it's a hard launch. So you spend a lot of time on the back end. And then their offices are in Pennsylvania, so you have to fly there. And sometimes you're given like 2-day notice. You need to be on a plane in Pennsylvania because you got scheduled for a 10-minute hit. So you're going over there for 10 minutes, but you could be selling anywhere between $50 to $1 million in inventory.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like worth it, right? So went on QVC the first time, we sold out on air, which was like insane. No one ever does that, which is pretty insane.
Kidding.
I still remember that, which was like wild. So we sold out and then we kept going back and kept doing really well.
Were you freaking out the first time?
Freaking out because no one does. Like it's so hard.
And then you kept going back.
We kept
and then
going
you're
back.
like, this is
it's
natural
like,
to me.
It's natural. And so now we're going on 3 or 4 years now with QVC. So I have a hit in a month from now. So I'll be there, which I got it a month's notice, which is kind of nice.
This is so much to manage. I'm like overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed, and not to count just launching.
Because that's all exciting, but I'm thinking about the back end of all of this.
Yeah.
Inventory.
You have to have systems, warehouses. Vinny does all of our operations. So we sold him away from what he used to do. So he manages everything. And we have such a great team now. There's 15 of us and I have 200 sales reps.
Do you have a warehouse or do you have like
we have a warehouse? Yeah, we have a warehouse out in West Covina. And
so you guys manage all of that?
So they do all the shipping and everything, but it all connects through an EDI system. So all the retailers now put in everything through the EDI. Yeah, so it's actually kind of, they just package it and do their orders and we just update them about inventory. So QVC, it's just obviously the biggest thing I think you would find is projections. I'm sure you have a hard time with that. There's no
How do you
system.
know? Yeah.
And you don't know if
and you don't want to
go
viral.
viral.
Like you don't want to not have the inventory when you have a moment like that.
Yeah, and it's like, so we've those are things we've learned. You know, we're still navigating through, and because we've had multiple products go viral, and then people are pissed because it's sold out, and I'm like, well, we can't predict that a product's going to go viral and all the things, but now we're getting like a better hand as the team's gotten better. We've implemented more systems and brought in some great professionals that really know this. And then we launched an Ulta, which is now we're Dolce Glows in 1,200 stores. And then our second brand, Sunny Bay Skin, is in all doors.
So tell me why you started the second brand.
Yeah, so I love that you asked that, because it really goes back to a time in my life where I left my foster home, couldn't afford a prestige self tanner like Dolce Glow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted something that was good, but there's no way. Like now I want the best on my skin, so I don't care what it's going to cost. Like now I'm able to, indulge a little bit more on what I use, and I can spend a little bit more. But there's not a lot in our category, right? You have makeup, skincare, hair care. Mm-hmm. You have hundreds of brands. Self-tanning, you maybe have 5. And so I'm like, if I don't play in that lower category too, someone else is going to play. But I know I can play because I know I make great formulas. So if I can find a way to cut down, not use all the anti-aging ingredients that Dolce Glow has and all the collagen, all the nice stuff Dolce Glow has, and very expensive ingredients. If I could find a group of ingredients, which we use Marine Beauty as our algae, which hydrate, and that's all people, for that Gen X, Gen Z, which the packaging is for them, they love the bright colors. They just want something that's not sticky. They want something that's reasonable, that's going to feel good on their skin. So what we make great formulas. We know how to make them great. But we don't need an outer box. There's so many ways you could chip down. And again, for us, the biggest thing was not using so many expensive ingredients that we did. And we found another group of ingredients that are good. Obviously, Dolce Glow has all your bells and whistles, but Sunny Bay has all your marine-based beauty. So it has your algae to help hydrate and rejuvenate your skin cells, which is what you need for self-tanner, spray tan. So we ended up using those group of ingredients in our self-tanners, and I just wanted to play in that because I wanted to give people options. Like if it's their first time trying self-tanners, they might not want to buy a $50 self-tanner. They might want to buy something that maybe isn't going to break the bank. Or maybe they do. They're like, I want the best and I'll buy. Yeah. But I just knew that there was an opportunity because there's like 3 other brands that are under $32 in self-tanning. We know how to do great formulas. Let's try it. And it's done extremely well. And people love it. And it's crazy because they're both serving its purpose. Like Dolce Glow is that really elevated sunless tanner. And then Sunny Bay is really for that girl that maybe doesn't want to spend money on self-tanners or wants to start somewhere, or just like me, couldn't afford something over $30 when I just left my foster home. So it's like a part of me that I wanted to always give back to that person that might have been in my same shoes. Yeah, good for you. That college student, that are maybe their parents are helping them and they get $20 for their groceries a week or whatever, but these college girls are tanning once a week, for all their stuff. And so for me, I'm like, I want to be able to give them an option. And people love it. And they're both doing extremely well.
Amazing. And you just launched in Sephora.
So we just launched Dolce Glow in Sephora, which is insane. Huge. Because it's rare.
Huge. I mean, all of this is huge. Yeah. That's why I'm overwhelmed. Because I'm like, oh my God, managing. I'm sure you have D2C as well. And then you have Ulta, and then you have Sephora, and then you have Nordstrom, and then you have QVC, which you show up to. Yeah. You're still developing future products, because I know you have an entire line now. Like, I think people forget about that, where it's like, while you're managing everything that you have on your plate right now, you're still adding to your plate for 2027, 2028, and you're still working on that, which is so much work itself, but people sometimes don't see that.
Yeah, but for me, it's the growth.
I mean, you were working on a whole new line in addition to
because I knew if I didn't do it, someone else would.
Yeah.
So I was like,
tell me, at what point did you start to get investors? When were you like, okay, I'm ready? And how do you find the investors?
Yeah, so I've been tanning for 11 years now, really started the brand 8 years ago. We didn't bring in investors till 4 years ago. So, and we did a friends and family round first. So we reached out to our friends and family and said, hey, do you guys want to invest? We don't want to take this burden on our family anymore because it's very expensive. We're talking $200,000 purchase orders, a lot of risk, on one person, but there's that big return, right? If this goes great and it's going great, there's going to be a big return for whoever's invested. So we brought in friends and family, maybe even 3 or 4 years ago. And then we're now working on another series, another raise that will bring in another set of funding. And so that might be more institutional, or it could be private investors too. So it might be a mix of those. But it's really helped us, and our investors are really cool and fun. And actually, we love all of our people that have been involved, which is great.
Because sometimes when investors come on board, opinions change.
The great thing is,
change,
most of them are friends and family, and no one can tell you how to do a self tanner. Like no one could tell you like how to market it. No one, like I've been in this, and they've trusted me, and I've grown it.
So they invested because
for the most part
they trust you, and they see the potential.
They see the potential. Like last year, we had a 74% sales growth from the year before.
That's insane.
When most beauty companies were like flat.
Yeah.
Like we had a 73, almost 74% sales growth from the year before. So like it's growing, our distribution.
And do you have a board now, or these?
Yeah, so our board is, it's myself, Vinny, my CFO, and we just brought in a fourth board person, soon to be a fifth board person. So we have a board, which that kind of helps us make decisions for the company, since there is shareholder, assets and money. We want to make sure that we're making the best decisions. So we have board approvals on everything. Yeah, it's been crazy.
Good for you. I'm so proud of you. Did I miss anything? Because I mean,
it's so much.
The journey for me was really important, because I want people to know that sometimes people think, well, I don't have the money to start the investment, but yours was literally just doing the service first, maybe saving that money. And then investing in your first collection of products along with credit cards. Not that we recommend you start with credit cards, because that's a risk too. But you went to friends and family, when you felt ready. And I think, when you have a vision and passionate about something, and your work, your solution, your product, whatever it is, so well, and you have a gut instinct about what you're doing, you take bigger chances in taking those steps.
And it's like, if you don't take risk, you'll never know. But beauty is one of the biggest returns. Like when you get acquired, or down the line, if someone wants to purchase Dolce Glow, or maybe it's like a big company like L'Oreal or something that says, hey, we want to buy, so when people are so focused on me not spray tanning certain people, I'm like, you don't even know what I'm expecting in the next 3 to 5 years, like
and goal in mind.
Like, I know I'm not going to
super focused,
and it's like, I did it and I love it and I'm grateful for it, and I'll still do it when I can. But like the end goal is so big for me that it's going to leave my family a legacy, God willing.
I can't wait until we do this interview when you sell.
Oh my gosh,
we're celebrating ringing the bell. But what words of advice would you have for someone who maybe wants to start their own line, start their own business, whether it be service? I mean, you opened a beautiful tanning salon.
Thank you.
From driving from Calabasas to God knows where, the Valley and Pasadena, all in a single night. To now you have a location. I mean, you're doing so much, and it makes me feel like I'm so inspired, right? I'm just like, just when I think I'm doing enough, I'm like, no, I'm not. I still have time to have like little lunches and chill out. And no, I shouldn't have those times. And to me, I'm like, I shouldn't have that time. For me, but obviously, as a mom of 3, I'm just like finding that balance and health scares and all of these things. I'm trying to mentally take it down a few notches, but I am inspired in a way where I'm like, there's so much that can be done, and there's no limit to what we can do.
As much as you want to do, and I think, for me, when people like, what is that advice? It's like, if you don't try it, you'll never know. Like you have to try it. And it's
and what
scary.
would be the formula to first try it?
So whether it's service, you go and, start to become a professional at that service, whether you want to become a service provider, right? You take that spray tan class, you take that makeup class, start watching stuff, reading stuff, really getting to know that profession, doing the research. And then just like for me, it's crazy to think, but like, I didn't sit there and dwell on months to be like, oh, I'm going to take this spray tan class. I just fucking did it. I just did it. You just have to do it, because then you're wasting more time, and then someone else is going to do it, right? So it's like, you'll never know until you do it. And so whether it's taking that first step, what is the first step, right, to launching a product? It's, well, maybe I do hire a consultant, right? Like if thank gosh I had mentors, but now like for me, I consult for other businesses, right? Like you'll get a few hours of my time a month. I can tell you where to source packaging. I can tell you how to do a friends and family round. I can tell you what type of loans to get. Like there's so much knowledge that like if I could have paid someone that literally, whether it was monthly, whatever, I would have done that.
That information is like invaluable.
It's invaluable. So friends and family, I have a lot of people that I've helped along the way. And then, but at the same time, like I'm a huge believer, like your time is worth money now, and
because
not now.
You don't have time.
And you don't, because I don't, right? So if I'm going to sit down and sacrifice hours
and also you're providing something that it took you years to learn.
And it's going to probably save them thousands of dollars from a mistake, right? So, I think that like reaching out, finding consultants, taking that class, whatever that is, and, worst case, you take it and you don't like it. That's okay. I've had people take my spray tan class and they'll start it for a few months. They're like, it's not for me, but at least they tried it, right? You're not risking 30, 50, hundreds of thousands of dollars right off the bat. You take baby steps, right? If I could go back, would I have launched 5 SKUs at one time? No, I probably would have launched 2 SKUs, right? And then built on that collection, right? You see what people like, what works. Like we had to discontinue our lotions. People that loved them, but I would sell 800. I couldn't sell 5,000, 6,000 of them, which were my minimum order quantities, right? So there's so much knowledge that I've learned now that like, I just think it's like, you have to invest in that and don't be cheap.
Yeah.
It's like, I get that you want to be scrappy and you have to be scrappy, but there's things that you need to be able to put money in. I'm like, it's a
Save
business.
yourself money later.
Correct.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're going to find yourself in trouble, and it's going to cost you 10 times that amount to get you out of that mess. So
how do you decide what's the next product for you? Like, don't you agree that that's like listen to your clients?
Listen to your clients, but at the same time, don't you feel like it's the biggest risk every time you launch a new product? Like you're like, is this going to work?
You've worked on it for such a long time, and now you're like about to expose your baby to the world, and you're just like, what is the feedback?
In business, you have, and you probably have done this too, you have to be able to pivot.
Absolutely.
I've had products.
All the time. I've discontinued so many products from my line. It just doesn't make sense.
Correct.
It could be great, but I love it.
You can't sell 5 units of them a year, or like pivoting. So like, for example, there was a product I was going to launch last year and I'm like, I'm just not filling it. My components are here. They're done, named, everything. And I'm like, I'm just not going to put this in the market. And now this year, I'm like, okay, maybe this year I'm going to put it, but because I have the packaging and I actually now it's changed a little bit. So I actually do think it'll do well now this year, not last year. And so what we're trying to do now with that is I'm actually not going to give it to retail. Something else I learned was you don't just give everything to retailers.
You keep it exclusive to your website.
Correct. If it doesn't sell, you're going to get a huge return to vendor, which we talked about that.
Which is a very big, and so very costly.
So what you want to do if there's someone that's listening that is going into retail, you only you only give them your top SKUs.
Yeah.
You only give them what you know is going to sell. That's something I learned. No one taught me that, right? So I've had to pull stuff and I'm like, then you have your chargebacks and then your books are upside down.
Yeah.
So for example, this product that I decided not to launch last year that was going to go into retail, of course they weren't happy because I messed up their plan for them. I'm like, it's just not going to do well. This year I'm launching it, but I'm testing it only on my.com. The biggest risk is my.com. Right? Like, and I'm not going to have a bunch of like huge, massive hundreds of thousands of dollars of returns. At least I can take the risk on my.com, keep it small, do the minimum order quantity and see how it goes. So you have to be able to pivot and trust your gut. I always tell every business owner, like the one time I didn't listen to my gut, and we talked about this earlier, I just knew like in my gut, like it wasn't, but I just ignored. It wasn't the right decision. So you have to listen to your gut. Your gut knows what's right. Like you could be fighting and you're like, if your gut's like telling you and you're teeter-totting.
And then sometimes things just look really beautiful and you're like, oh, I want that. But
you're like, is it going to do good for your customer? It's rotten on the
inside.
Right. Is it going to do good for your customer? Is your customer going to like this? Like you love it. Like obviously I think we sometimes will launch stuff because we're like, we love it. But now it's like, will the rest of the customers love it? Right. Is it an oversaturated market? Could I move 5,000 units from a purchase order. There's all these things that you have to think about that no one thinks about, right? So, you know, I think about that all the time. Or if you are launching a skincare line or whatever it is, just working with a friend of mine, I'm like, don't launch more SKUs until you can sell your first SKUs first, you know?
What did you learn from Jamie? Was there one thing that you learned from her that
so
you applied
Jamie,
to your
it's
business?
like be very selective what you give retailers, right? Negotiate your terms, packaging, good lawyers, just all of that. Like just she's taught me so much.
Yeah.
And
now you're that person.
Also, what type of investments are good?
Yeah.
You know, that stuff. I didn't know anything about it. Like different investors have different check sizes too, right? So like you could have an institutional firm that will only invest in early stage. And then you have an institutional firm that will only invest in growth stage. And then you have a third firm that will only invest when you're getting close to get acquired, and they'll write you the $20 to $50 million checks, right? And then your growth ones might write you $250,000 to $1 million checks. Sorry, your early stage, and then the check sizes go up. So you have different stages in business that a lot of people, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
but you also have to know when you're ready for those.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stories.
Sometimes it'll be too quick.
Right.
Or you can miss the boat, and you have to know when is the right time for those.
I think another thing that a lot of people might not know about that I'd like to share is if you are working and you are bringing investors, my CFO set me up with 3-to-1 voting rights.
Set you with what?
3-to-1 voting rights.
Okay.
So ultimately, like say on an ownership buyout, like every time you put in money and you get diluted, right? Your ownership percentage goes down. But with the 3-to-1 voting rights, ultimately, I still take full control that even if I were to go under 50% of ownership, which most founders do when you're getting investors, you go under 50%. I have 3-to-1 voting that even my board, I have like 80-to-1. So I will always maintain control. I will always maintain, maybe in the buyout, I'm not making, 100%. No one makes even 50%. Once you start going through those seed rounds, it goes less and less, but the company grows. So it's like, you rather have 10% of $1 billion company than you eat, right? So it is true. But I was like, everyone always says, you'll hear this all the time. Don't go below 51% ownership. Don't sell more than 50% ownership. You hear that all the time. And then I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, I am going to go under 51% ownership. Like, it's impossible to not go under 51% ownership. But then what I realize is that they don't realize that there's certain ways that your company could be set up to where you do have and maintain control regardless of your ownership percentage.
That's something I
So my CFO set me up. He's like, oh, you have 3-to-1 voting rights. And I don't know what the hell that meant. Now I am so grateful that he set me up that way, because I would have had an investor come in, okay, you're under 50%, shareholders maintain, we're going to make all the decisions. Oh no, I maintain, I'm 3-to-1 voting. I make all the decisions. My board could agree, but even with my board, obviously you want majority to go, but in the end, I still have 3-to-1 voting rights. So I have maintained 80% of the votes through our shareholders, all that stuff.
Insane. I had no idea.
Isn't that crazy?
I had no idea you could do that.
No one knows that. And sometimes institutions,
this is why it's so important to also have like the right partnerships.
The right partnerships, the right like investors.
To guide you in the right direction.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful for my CFO, who's incredible, that set me up this way, because he's like, I don't want anyone to take Dolce Glow away from you. Like, I look at you as one of my daughters, literally. But investors, sometimes big institutions, they want a board seat. They want to maintain control. And then, so like as we continue to grow, we might have investors that will come in and say, hey, well, we don't want Isabel to have 3-to-1 voting rights. And at that point, is the check big enough for me to decide, okay, you know what, 3-to-1 voting rights, maybe we go down to 2-to-1 voting rights. But that's something that hasn't come up yet, which I'm so grateful for, because I maintain full control. But let me tell you, God has blessed me with the most incredible people, partners, attorneys. I've had the same team since I started. Like we talk about being
your
so
assistants
busy.
have been with you forever.
And they're
since
all friends and
we first
family of
met.
mine. They're all best friends of mine, related or all the things. And, you know, we talk about like, how can I do it? It's because I have a great team, Lilit. Like my team, like it's Bailey, it's Sierra, it's Lorena, it's Tiffany, it's Jessica, it's Vinny. You know, even my sister's working with us. It's like everyone's in it, and they're all do such a good job with their job that they allow me so I can do podcasts and I can have a head free so that I can be the creative. And I can call Bailey at 10 o'clock at night because she's so inundated with everything that she's doing. I could call her and be like, oh my gosh, I have the coolest campaign. They are so good at protecting me, and they own their day-to-day, and they only bother me unless it's like a super red flag. So it's
beautiful.
I have a great team that
it's
allows
the universe
me to be free.
giving,
It is
trying to repay you in some way,
my gosh,
shape or form, you know, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I know this is, you know, this podcast is like interviewing people who have made it. And to me, you've made it.
Oh, thank you.
But also I know that this is like, you're just climbing. This is not the peak of Isabel yet. And this is not the peak of Dolce Glow yet. And I know you're going to go public, and I know you're going to sell, and I know you're going to exit. I know like all this, and it makes me so happy for you. And because you really deserve it. You know,
thank you.
There's a lot of brands out there with a lot of owners, a lot of creators, and not everyone is like you. You're a good person, you know, and this is why you're surrounded with such amazing people, because God brought you to their path and them to your path so that you can, you know, climb this ladder. And not, the struggle will always be there, but
always,
you know, but let it be growing pains.
It is,
you know?
It is. And everything can get worked out.
Yeah.
You know, everything will. And it's just time, and time heals, and all the things. But I'm so grateful, and you inspire me. Like I see you cooking and the kids, and I know you do a lot of all your content. You guys do so much stuff in-house, and like we've grown into this bigger team, but like I see everything you're doing, and I'm just as inspired. You know, like
that means so much to me.
I remember like I remember seeing your content, and what I loved so much about your content was it was under direct sunlight.
Yeah,
like you
I remember you asked me
about that, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. So like me talking to you and seeing so much of stuff that you could do in-house, and I remember it was actually you saying like, you know, I do all my photography and pictures because they want to charge me all these licensing deals. So guess what? We do it all in-house now too.
Good for
you know? So there's so much
learning from each other.
Yeah, we all are. You know,
and that's important.
You have to.
Because we were just, you know, I was on a podcast with Sam Soleil, the dentist, and he was saying, you know, like in the industry he's in, it could be frowned upon to be on social media and to kind of share who your guests are. And it's because it's such a serious work. And, you know, he's like, or you can be inspired and do it as well and grow and build a name and then create products too. You can do it too, you know, so you can take what you see and, you know, receive it in the way that you are open to receiving it. So congratulations on all the success. I'm so proud of you. If you guys have not tried her tanning products, there's nothing better. It's really, I always have it in my drawers. And
thank you.
I have a lot of like, I have very thin skin. So you know me, you spray tan me. I have a lot of veins and capillaries. Like I don't have like, metaphorically, I have thick skin, but actually I don't.
I know.
Thin skin, so
I'd say I have like my white girl skin.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't wear skirts until I, you know, use your spray tanning on my legs or your Mia, which is like that nice glow, and it has makeup in there.
And it washes off.
Literally, I don't wear skirts without it, and it's not because I'm white. It's because I look very uneven. Yeah. So, you know, I do truly am a fan. I am truly a fan of your products.
I'm just as a fan as yours. My favorite is the palette. I love your mascara. And I like literally need a restock on like
I gotta
everything.
restock
But
you.
literally,
while.
I remember when you came out with that, and I don't even know if you still have it.
The sponge?
No, it's your palette, because I ran out of it. But it was like the bronzer, the blush. It was like a 3-tier color one.
Oh.
The face one. It's so good.
Which 3-color one?
Like the it was like, I have it. It was my favorite.
Was it a gold palette?
No, it's like circle one, your circle one. Maybe you don't have it, but that was my favorite one.
I wonder if that was a sample I gave you.
You might have. Well,
I wonder if that was...
spill the tea.
No, that's fine, because I remember there was a time where you were like,
that's all I used.
You know, who can I go to? Because I'm trying to make a body powder. I think we talked about this,
and you gave
right?
me a sample. You know, I still haven't. That's hopefully
Yes,
something
I think
on the
that's what
list.
it was. Yeah.
Anyhow.
Well, anyway, I'm excited to see you grow and what's next for you. And thank you for
grateful
sharing.
for
This
you.
was so much information.
So much.
And I hope that the viewers, like, I think with you as someone who, you know, had a service and then developed products and then you have investors, like, you really put all of this on a silver platter for us. And those of you who are listening, you know, can learn
there's
so
a lot of
much from her.
information here. There's a lot of
no,
good
you really
information.
spelled it out, and
Thank
I'm so
you.
grateful for you doing
Thank
that,
you. I'm
because
so
not
honored.
everybody
Thanks
does
for
that.
having me on.
Thank you.
I love
You're amazing.
you.
Love you.